What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett with my guest co-host Jessica here
Hey.
on Rants or Us. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave that comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000. We hope you guys can help us get there. All right, so episode 4, Shadow and Bone. What did you think?
Very slow for me.
Ah, man, I felt like there was a moments in there, especially the ending. I thought there was moments that was the best of it.
The ending was
But most of it was
fairly
good.
okay, but it had too much bits and pieces going. It was just so much that they wanted to talk about, but not enough time to put it all together. And they just went blah, 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 blah. It was like somebody blew up and blah, blah, blah.
To me, I felt like there was not enough to talk about, and that Mal was talking about his love for her, and then she's like kind of in this in between area where she wants to forget him, but then doesn't want to forget him, and all of that. And I felt like that was what it focused on.
My
way too
thing
much.
was, I even asked Brett this. I said, he keeps writing these letters, and she keeps writing letters, but nobody gets the letters. And I was like, well, are they intercepting the letters to make sure that,
Kind of almost makes me think that maybe Gerald Kerrigan has something to do with that.
Because he's writing a letter. This is my 4th time I'm writing you, and you're not writing back. And it's like she writes him, and it's like, somewhere along the lines, snail mail does eventually get to you, but
I think there's gonna at first I didn't think that there was gonna be anything to do with that, but when she had that one scene where she goes up to basically the mailman and basically asks him, "Hey, have I got any letters?" And then there's nothing. Then that obviously tells you right then and there that somewhere in between the letters.
Stack this tall of letters from him.
But you even hear Bagra and some of the others even stating, "Hey, once you come here, everything your past life is dead at this point." So I can see why those in the little palace are like, you know what? It doesn't matter if your family or your loved ones are writing you, because they should just be dead to you at that point. So I feel like that's a really messed up way, but I could see their point in that way.
Still,
because think of it, they're getting a lot of these kids from orphanages and their parents at homes, and they don't want them to be tied down with those responsibilities. You could have blackmail, you could have anything and everything go on. So I can understand their reasoning for not wanting that. It's almost kind of like the Jedi Order. I know I always go back to Star Wars, but it's kind of like the Jedi Order. There's really no, once you've been taken, then
once you go black, you ain't going.
Well, I know
to the dark side again.
But seriously, once you're with the Jedi, you are
a Jedi.
You're a Jedi, and you have nothing to do with your family.
I guess
at that point. But that being said, I felt like there's going to be more to it than that. I think it's General Kerrigan that is probably the one that's probably behind that. If I had to guess, that it's him. But overall, I thought it was kind of slow. I thought it was very slow. I thought it drug on, and I kind of lost focus on exactly where we were and the time.
That's why I said it just felt like somebody just threw up and just went blah, and just put all the scenes together, but then it didn't flow.
No, it really didn't.
It really didn't flow at all. But
let's just take Alina, for instance. One of the first scenes is Alina and Kerrigan going to that well, and then him talking, about, the black heretic.
Actually, the first thing is that he picks out her outfit, and he picked out a black outfit for her, and she wanted to be normal, and she picked the blue one. So when they went to go horseback riding, he goes, "Oh, you didn't like the outfit I picked for you?" Apparently not.
Yeah, but see, there's reasoning, but see, that to me was a big scene. because in that scene, that's basically where he's basically identified her as someone that is on the same level as what he is.
Hi.
And so far, it's because he's the only one that can wear it. So him choosing that is a big deal. And so her turning it down is almost a rejection of, she doesn't want to be at this high pedestal as what he does.
But then towards the end of the show, she starts learning.
True.
So.
But if you remember at the well scene, where he's saying we're going to make, remake the world together. All of these scenes, like he's lonely. He says he's lonely. And all the people that he's watched out over the years.
And one thing that got me
and it's really tragic to him.
He has a crush on her so bad because the way he touched her face and touched her hair is like that touch that a guy does for a woman. I can't repeat it.
I feel like
that right there, and then she's like, I have to go.
I feel like
she knew.
I feel like in this show, subtlety is out. I feel like in this show that they go to like extremes, in not good extremes, like extremes of like it doesn't feel realistic. It's kind of like the whole Mal, Alina situation. I mean, it's where their lives just completely and totally revolve around each other. They can't do anything without the other one, and I just kind of feel like that's not realistic in a lot of ways, and I feel that way with Kerrigan as well.
What's her name? The late Alina.
Alina, yeah.
Okay, we find out with Alina that she actually did get tested.
Yeah, and that was a big deal.
And she told the lady that she was training with. And she said the tea should be working, and she goes, well, where are you? And she's back in the orphanage. I guess she had this like memory tea, and she got tested, and she held it in.
Well, she grabbed that piece of glass or whatever.
Well, she was holding it with her hand behind her back, and she was just grabbing it, and she was just clenching it so hard, and she knew she was.
Yeah, she knew that something was on. So this whole idea of her not knowing her powers or anything like that, it's either she didn't know, that she did know, and she was trying to hide it, which it kind of felt that way to me, or she didn't want to know because to her it didn't really matter if she was one or not. But there's a part of me that makes me think that if her holding the glass makes me think that she already kind of knew to a certain extent. I mean, because it just felt like that.
But she didn't know what kind of power she had, though. Yeah, and that's the thing.
Now I'm kind of curious, as did they leave the orphanage right after that? Because why was Mal never tested again? They said, well, you're not going to be tested this year. Why wasn't he tested the next year? So that's a question that I actually have when it comes to this.
Maybe he is one because he can see the deer.
I mean, he has a connection to her, and through, he even talks about certain sounds. He has a connection with her that is not natural. I mean, in a lot of ways. It's almost kind of like the two are connected in that regard.
So maybe we might see him having special powers as well. Maybe he could be
I think that's kind of why they're leading up to it.
I bet you it's going to be the Darkling, her, and him in the void.
It could very well be.
On the fold, whatever. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it could very well be. Now, as far as General Kerrigan is concerned, though, I thought this was a really weak episode from him. I thought he was a little bit too clingy. I thought, when he was telling kind of the story and a little bit
too sappy with the story.
When he
boo-hoo me.
Yeah, when he was talking about the heretic, I kind of felt like, okay, I actually kind of feel for this guy. But then he just kind of got like a really, really stalker vibe about him that I just did not like. And so, he didn't set too well with me in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as Mal is concerned in this, Mal was just way over the top in a lot of different ways. This writing letters and narration and everything about Alina. But then I felt like he had the best scene of the whole episode when him
flipping got shot.
He got both of his friends killed. And Mikhail and Dubrov, like that was to me a
okay. Let's lead up to what's going on. Okay, apparently, the Darkling is looking for her deer.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants so he can get the powers and stuff. Yeah, whatever. We all know that. He wants somebody in the army to go out and find the deer. Okay, so guess who volunteers? Well, because hey, if I can get that deer for her, I can get closer to her. Okay.
Yeah, you get to go to the little palace
and see her.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, he's like, I'm leaving. And his two friends are like, you think you're going alone? Yeah, right. So they venture out into the snow and stuff like that.
They get in the Feridun territory.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
That's the rivals that they got. And they end up getting caught, and then that ends up leading to his friend's death. Which I thought it was a good scene.
But see, the thing is with me, that guy had a machine gun. Because you can see all the bullets just hanging.
Yeah.
The machine gun. You could see him getting hit at least a good maybe 4 or 5 times. Yeah, he got the
first hit of it.
No, he got hit about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So, and then they shoot the other 2. But what I get is that they're over there killing the rest of them to make sure that one's dead too. Mm-hmm. And they come over to him and he stabs them. How in the flip are you? Oh.
I kind of felt like not only how are you alive, plus how are you capable of fighting back to that extreme?
When you got shot about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
There's something special about him. There has to be.
There's something about, okay, this is the part that actually drove me crazy.
You know
it's right before they got shot with the machine gun. He's sitting there looking at this guy getting the machine gun ready. Like, you can clearly see the guy from his vantage point. Yeah, with the machine gun, and he's not like shooting at the guy.
That makes me think. That makes me think that he is a
Grisha.
Because if he can see things. Because he was on the trail of that deer, and the friends are like, "Are you sure you know where you're going?" He goes, "Yes, I know where I'm going."
Yeah, he said he knew exactly.
He knew where to go.
I forget if it's in the book or if it was in this episode where she says basically he can make rabbits from rocks. Like it's something along those lines. Like
I don't think so.
Because when it comes to tracker wise,
mm-hmm.
because he's capable of just tracking anything and everything where it just appears like there's nothing there. So I mean he is an expert tracker, and that's a skill. That could be because he is a Grisha in some form or fashion.
He might be a Grisha because he got shot 4 or 5 times. But see, that's the only thing that gets me.
But what did you think of that scene overall? I mean, did you love it? Did you hate it?
It was okay, but still, the only thing that really gets me is that he got shot and then he's alive, and I'm like, and he fights back.
I feel like he's in a little too good shape for a man that just got shot 5 times. Exactly. I kind of feel that way too. I agree with you 100% on that. But
he does find the deer.
Yeah, he finds the deer. Which I'm just curious about what he's going to do, because he can't shoot the deer. If he shoots the deer, then she's not going to be able to take his power. Because he's going to have to do something.
He might talk to it.
He might talk to it.
Nothing
would shock me at this point about what's going on.
You never know. No.
But as far as the other side of the story, the Kaz, Inez, and the Jesper storyline, I thought that heist was so absurd. the whole. I mean, we see it in everything now. Heist scenes. Seems like with everything now.
Sad. I felt bad for what's the guy's
Jasper.
name? Jasper.
You're
He
giving
had to
away
give
the
goat away. He's like,
that part didn't even bother me a bit, but it was a funny scene.
he's petting the goat. He's like, I'm sorry. I'll come visit you.
Yeah.
You good little baby cat. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my lord.
But
The guy who plays him is really good.
he really is.
Oh
He's
my
a
lord.
very, very good
He
actor.
is really good.
And really, to be honest with you, I don't really have a connection with Inez or Kaz that much, but I really like Jasper. I really like him.
Too.
He is just funny. He's just, I tell you, that episode where he's just a beast with that goat. Like, I just felt like he does such a fabulous job when it comes to the role that he plays, that gunslinger role. But overall, what would you give this episode?
5.
I give it about, I'll say 6.5. I would give it. Personally.
That's the only reason for me is a 5 because it was too slow. It was not consistent enough for me to be excited. Like I said, I have to be at the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of any show or any movie has to be exciting. If it's not exciting, guess what? I'm out.
I gave it a 6.5 simply because I didn't enjoy the heist scene. I hated the heist scene altogether. I did enjoy that they told a little bit of backstory about, that Alina was tested, but how she made it through that Grisha test without finding them finding out who she was or what she was. Another thing that I thought was really interesting, that I felt like I enjoyed, that they talked a little bit, her and Kerrigan talked about the heretic, because there's something shady about that. I won't spoil it, but I mean, there's something shady that's probably going to go on about that. One
thing I hate about him reading the book. He knows more than I do.
Overall, though, I will say this. Mal's narration throughout this drove me crazy, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. I just did not like anything.
Yeah, he was kind of reading the love notes.
Oh, Lord. It was just so sappy and so stupid. I just hated everything about it.
Now, one thing that really got me was she called for her girl, that little friend that is the Queen's aide.
No, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What's her name?
I forget. I totally forget it right now. But I know.
Anyways, the Queen's aide, the one who is actually in the room with her in the beginning of the last episode when she was getting dressed and everything.
The tailor.
She calls her and tells her something. She says, "Erase this."
Yeah, she's wanting to erase the memory of Mal, basically.
And I'm like, why?
Because she's wanting to erase the memory of Mal. While he's in this, love state with her, she's wanting to forget about him.
But then again...
Because she knows that's the only way she can bring out her power.
Exactly. That's the only thing I could think of, because when the lady was in there with her, she's like, she was getting her angry. And the anger was just flaring up, and that was helping her.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I felt I know Bagra doesn't supposed to be a favorite character, but I will admit I actually really enjoy her character because, I mean, she makes sense.
I'm not your mother figure.
Yeah, and I thought that was just kind of, but I mean, she's doing this to get a rile, to try to get to the bottom of why are you not able to do these things? I mean, so she's there for that.
Exactly.
But overall, I do enjoy her character. I thought this episode though was beyond slow. I mean, that was my initial take on it.
Hopefully, number 5. Oh, sorry. Will be a lot better.
Overall, guys, let us know what y'all think. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let us know down below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Y'all take care. Bye.